South Africans opened up their hearts and wallets to help victims of the Syrian conflict recently. More than 40 million rand has been raised following the call from Operation SA. The donations have been handed over to aid organizations working in Syria. One of the founders of Operation SA is Yusuf Abramjee, and he joins us now via Skype. Yusuf, thank you so much for joining us. You've just returned from your time spent on the Turkey-Syria border. Tell us a bit more about what exactly you experienced there.
Good morning, Marcel. The situation is dire. We have about 3 million refugees who are along that Turkish-Syrian border. We have about 300,000 orphans. The area that we went to, we were heartbroken. We've come back really with our hearts bleeding. What we have seen this week is suffering on a massive scale, epic proportion. People are desperate for food, for shelter, for clothing, and really there's much more that the world can do. What we've seen the past few days, even when we entered Syria through a safe humanitarian corridor, Kari Ziad Patel from the Al Imdad Foundation and I were really on an emotional roller coaster. Marcel, we saw the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good being all the organizations, individuals, volunteers, helping the refugees, helping the widows, helping the orphans. We've seen the bad. We went to hospitals where people have no legs, no arms, severe burns. They were the victims of the war. And then we saw the ugly side of it, the real effects of war and what war does. So while some work is being done, a lot of good work is being done, a lot still needs to be done. But really what we've seen in the refugee camps, at orphanages, at hospitals, at rehab centers, has really left us devastated.
I was reading about some of your experience there, and what was quite telling for me is the situation regarding especially children. Tell us a bit about the impact that's been held, and what one understands is thousands of orphans left by the Syrian conflict.
There's some 300,000 orphans. We went to a number of orphanages. As much as they're getting good accommodation, they're getting good education, let's not forget that 50% of the 1 million children who are refugees only go to school. These children need love, they need care, they need clothing, they need the babies need diapers. We in need of blankets for the children. And when we went to some of the orphanages, Marcel, I left there broken down. Myself and part of the delegation, the kids refused to let us go. I remember little Ahmed, two-year-old baby, who just enjoyed every moment with us. And when we left, he started crying. He didn't want us to go. That is how desperate the situation is. Even in the refugee camps in Syria, when we arrived there to distribute aid, the children already around us, as much as they're in pain and suffering, emotionally traumatized, they are still smiling. Many of the children playing in the mud, in the rain, playing on sand heaps, in a very sad situation. We went to a school in a densely populated refugee camp, and the school itself is in need of help. They need teachers, they need money for resources. They don't have a single computer. And as we speak, more and more refugees are coming in from areas like Aleppo, even from Idlib, where we went to. A very, very desperate situation and very heartbreaking, Marcel.
Talk to us about Operation SA. What is the aim of this organization, and how have you been able to assist those left destitute by the Syrian conflict?
We launched it just before Christmas. We asked South Africans to unite. We allocated the monies to 7 beneficiaries. We gave 9.7 million rand in total so far, including 100,000 rand this week when we were on the Turkish border to a refugee who needed an urgent eye operation. We have total pledges as we speak of 15.1 million. We've got 11 million rand in the bank account. And as much as we paid 9.7 million, we've got another 1.2 million to pay. We are still taking pledges for the next few days. And we appeal to South Africans to continue opening their hearts, to continue showing the spirit of Ubuntu. Every rand will be spent. No salaries, no travel, no accommodation. We want every rand to go to the humanitarian efforts, and we're working very closely with the IHH, the Turkish-based humanitarian foundation. They are doing the work on the ground, but a lot of the organizations that we gave the money to are in the final stages of their preparations, right from funding bakeries for bread for refugees, to the orphans, sponsoring orphans, to giving food packs to people, and the warehouses that we visited this week in both Turkey and Syria. The aid keeps on arriving, the aid keeps on leaving. There was a 5-kilometer queue of trucks going into the Turkish, from the Turkish side into the Syrian border. And the aid is going, but we still need to do much more. It's a midwinter, it's cold, it's raining. The people of Syria need your help.
Thank you so much for your time. That was Yusuf Abramjee from Operation SA. You saw the details for their website there, and of course you can find Yusuf on social media as well if you'd like to find out how you can get involved and help in that situation in Syria.